Let's take you back to our top story. Eskom has suspended load shedding for now. The power utility says it's managed to recover more than 3,000 megawatts of generation capacity and replenish its reserves. On Friday, Eskom implemented stage 3 power cuts, citing unit breakdowns, among other things. The power utility says all units are now back online. But concerns are mounting about the economic toll if Eskom does not resolve load shedding. Kgosientsho Ramokgopa is the CEO of the Black Business Council and joins us to unpack this critical issue. Kgosientsho, good to speak to you as always. A few weeks ago, we had this conversation and you expressed your faith in Eskom management and leadership. Are you at all concerned that only 2 weeks after we had this conversation, there's been load shedding again now for 3 or 4 days?
Good afternoon, Hugo, and good afternoon to the viewers. We still have confidence in the leadership of Eskom, but we're a bit worried now because of the frequency of this load shedding. We thought that the load shedding as we know it, as we knew it, has already passed, but we're starting to get worried because it's now almost happening once or twice a month, which is a bit disturbing for businesses. But we're glad that ultimately now Eskom was able to stop the load shedding way before the anticipated time when they promised that they were going to stop it or suspend it tomorrow. So that also gives some confidence because it looks like what they're trying to do, they're trying to limit it to weekends when a lot of companies are closed. So to try and then limit the inconvenience that it is happening, but yeah, it's becoming it's starting to worry us, especially the frequency of load shedding that is happening now.
Now, the challenge, Kgosientsho, with the weekend is that many of your members who are small businesses thrive at the weekend. We've had conversations with individuals that own hair salons, the individuals that own the pubs and the bars. Now, business thrives in those industries at the weekend.
Yes, I think that is the biggest challenge that we are now facing. And then in some instances, some of the companies, they will lose like 5,000, 10,000 per day. To give you examples, when we've got a pub and this is like almost after month end, so you're expecting a lot of patrons to come, and it makes life very, very difficult for small businesses. So the cost of trying to keep yourself open is just going up and up on a daily basis. And the other thing that we've realized is that even after load shedding has been suspended, there are consequences or unintended consequences of load shedding whereby we start to experience a lot of trippings because of the system being old. Then even after load shedding, a lot of companies and businesses are still experiencing some sort of power cuts, because then it takes time for recovery and the sorting out of the tripping. So I think it's important that Eskom needs to permanently deal with the issue of load shedding.
Are you able to quantify the losses that businesses under your watch are suffering whenever there is load shedding, particularly of a prolonged nature?
Yeah, it depends on the size of the businesses, but in general it costs around 900 million per day for all types of businesses, and probably 25% of that will be small businesses, which is a lot of money that will never be recovered. And on top of that, then you've got additional costs. For example, you need to find alternative energy. If you are running a salon or pub or anything else like that, you need to then get a generator. A generator's cost can cost up to 15,000, but you need to at least also get diesel. And that also increases the cost, which then reduces your profitability. So, but the ideal situation is for Eskom to completely do away with load shedding.
Now, do you believe Eskom's current maintenance and recovery plans are sufficient to deal with the issues that we're experiencing at the moment?
Yes, we had engagements with the Eskom, and then we've been assured that they are doing their best. And as far as they are concerned, the load shedding that we had last year and the other years is way behind us. And we were working closely with them as well to make sure that this frequency of load shedding every 3 weeks, every 2 weeks comes to an end.
Now, the electricity minister yesterday in his address seemed to suggest that the issue around this period of load shedding the last few days is an issue of mismanagement. Does that worry you any further?
Yeah, the sentiment is worrying, but we've engaged with the leadership of Eskom, and that's not what we're getting. But maybe the minister is much closer to as a political head. So we hope that he will do his own analysis, investigations, and then come back to the community and then tell us what he found. But if there are any mismanagements, we will encourage him to take action against those people who are mismanaging the system, because we can't go back to the days where we will have endless load shedding.
Now, how do you see businesses and government working together to accelerate that move to renewable energy? Because the conversation becomes a lot more critical now, doesn't it?
Yeah, remember there are processes between business and government that are trying to deal with the issue of energy for long term. But remember, renewable does not necessarily help that much. Like now today, we've got it's cloudy. So if you are depending on solar today, you won't have electricity. So what we need what is called base load a power, where whether there's wind or there's sun or there's no sun or there's no wind, you still know that you will be able to have that type of electricity. So hence it's very, very important that we sort out Eskom. The issues of green energy, we have to deal with it at the same time. But the important thing for us is to sort out Eskom, because it's only through sorting out Eskom that we'll have no load shedding.
But Hanke, remember, when you have solar energy and it feeds into Eskom, Eskom is able to store that power. So even on a day like today, depending on where you are, where there is cloud cover, they're then able to take from that storage and supply those that are in need of electricity. But I'm interested in a conversation that you might be having as small businesses around backup energy and backup power, because there are no guarantees. I mean, you've had numerous conversations with the Eskom, including in the last few weeks, where you've been given assurances that load shedding is a thing of the past. But clearly, the authority don't quite have it all wrapped up at the moment.
Yes, you are right. We need to have that conversation, but we also need to put pressure on Eskom to sort out Eskom. As far as the storage technology is concerned, unfortunately, as we speak now, we don't have enough capacity to store electricity that is being produced by renewable energy people. So the technology is not yet there, and Eskom and other players are working on ensuring that we create enough storage. But as we sit in today, we don't have enough capacity to store electricity that is produced by renewable energy. So it does not necessarily it bring a little bit of relief, but unfortunately can be stored to be utilized later. But I fully agree with you. We really need to put pressure on the system, on Eskom, to make sure that load shedding is really behind us, because we can't afford it. The country's got many other problems, like President Trump and others, that we need to focus on. We can now be going back to focusing on electricity.
All right, now, finally, Hanke, what is your message to the Eskom leadership and the electricity minister around the challenges that black businesses are facing as a result of load shedding?
Yeah, the message is please sort out Eskom. If there are people who are found not to be performing, let's deal with them to make sure that we get the country where it's supposed to be.
Hanke Matabane, CEO of the Black Business Council, urging the relevant authorities, the Minister of Electricity, to deal with those individuals if they are found liable for causing load shedding.